Joined now by European Ryder Cup captain Luke Donald. Let's jump in for some quick questions. Right here, Ryan.
Do you find it a little, I don't know what the right word to use is, odd that Tommy didn't win a championship until last month, but this event he just knows what it takes and gets it done?
Well, I think it's a little unfair to say, he hasn't won a championship since a month ago. He's a world-class player that's won a bunch around the world. It took him a little time and had to, go through a few opportunities that let slip, for sure. But I think that, for Tommy, he reframes it in such a positive way, and I think that if you see it in a positive way, that the ones that get away, it only makes you stronger. And I think Tommy, he's a guy that just loves being around the team, and he loves contributing to that team. And he's a nice player to play with. I think he's at the top of the list of a lot of guys on our team that people want to play with.
Way up top there to 16.
Hi, Luke. Obviously, a lot was made of the president being here today. I know he was supporting America, but given he's such a big golf fan, just wondering, did he say anything to you or any of your guys at all when he was out there on the tee?
Yeah, I saw Mr. President and shook his hand and said hello, and he said, well, you're becoming a real great leader. So it was very nice of him to say that, and it was again nice of him to support this event, and
Here in the middle, 13.
Luke, you got 3.5 points today out of Rory and Jon Rahm, knowing the dynamics that are involved with trying to win a road game. What's it like to be able to lean on those two guys in particular?
I mean, in massive. I don't think Jon has lost in a team, one of the team, the four balls or foursomes since Paris. He's an incredible leader for us on and off the course, mostly, with the way he plays. Leader Rory's, probably slightly more vocal in the team room, but again, Rory's talked about what the Ryder Cup means and the disappointments we saw in Wisconsin, and how much he relishes Ryder Cups and the opportunity to try and be a part of them and hopefully be on winning teams. He's made it quite clear that one of his big goals was to win an away Ryder Cup again. And he played fantastic golf today.
Over to Paul on 14.
Fitzy, given his track record in this event, just with the way he played and how that went, was that particularly pleasing for you to see him play that well, and just what you thought of him and Ludwig together, seeing them for the first time in this event?
Yeah, they gelled very well, and you never know when you're trying new partnerships under intense pressure, but they seemed very relaxed. Their personalities really gelled, and their games were fantastic. Fitzy especially played some scintillating golf. I mean, he looked very comfortable out there. He looked very confident, and just great to see, because there's been some media about his Ryder Cup record, and I've always kept telling him, you just never know when it's time to go and make some points. And I've mentioned it even 2 years ago that Seve's first 2 Ryder Cups, I think he made 1 point, and now he's the legend of Europe. So there's always time, there's always this moment that he can contribute, and it's really good to see how well he played and how comfortable he looked out there.
Mike 12, please.
Yep. Hi, Luke. It appeared during the afternoon there was an incident where Rory made a gesture towards the crowd. Are you aware of that? Can you comment on it at all?
I'm not aware. What hole was that?
After the 11th hole.
Sorry, I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
But I was definitely proud of the guys and how they handled the situation. The tough environment out there.
Go right in front here to Cameron.
Back to Jon. Is he a guy that you've had conversations with about going out first? Like, is he someone who's come up to you and said, I want to go out first, I want to be in this spot?
Not necessarily. I think Jon is looking to always just help in any way he can to contribute to the team. But he has a good track record of going out first. So it's he likes to lead. He's, again, I feel like he's someone that he wants to do a lot of his talking with his golf clubs, and that's what he brings to our team and our team room, and people, all our teammates really respect that.
Over to Brody on 9.
Luke, I mean, we've been asking you questions for 2 years about, the challenge of playing on the road and winning. I mean, is there anything specific that you saw today that kind of showed that whatever preparations or strategy you've been doing, it kind of played out?
A lot of mental resilience. I think, you just look at some of the putts these guys hold when it mattered is pretty gratifying for a captain. Obviously this morning, to create a little bit of history with the 3 matches and how they were won was great. History is nice to accomplish. It doesn't mean anything unless we get those 14.5 points on Sunday. But I just think, even this afternoon with, it gets louder as it goes. You cross the road and there's a lot of grandstands, there's a lot of hospitality. In the afternoon, maybe guys have had a couple more beverages, and it gets loud, and the guys handled it with absolute class and poise. And I obviously talked about that. To be prepared for an away Ryder Cup, you have to deal with that, and I thought they dealt with it amazing.
Shane on 10.
Hey, Luke, going back to Rome now, you have 5 guys on your team who are 3-0 in the foursome sessions, the 2 in Rome, and of course today. I know we don't have pairings yet, but I imagine they'll all be out tomorrow. Who gets credit for that, beyond the players, for forming these teams and giving you what I think of as almost a firewall with these guys who are so good in that format?
Yeah, I'd say a couple people. We do a little bit of profiling, so we look at people's general characteristics and how they match up. I think that's important with foursomes especially. But also, I got to give a lot of credit to Eduardo. I mean, I think he's so switched on, statistic-wise. Probably out of all the vice captains, he's the one I talk to the most, just because it really has a big part of our strategy and how we go about the pairings, the orders. He's very tuned into that stuff, and he's a big asset to me.
Can I ask a quick follow-up on that? You talked about the things that go well together. I know you're referring to parts of their game and statistics. What about personality? Is that a consideration when you look at a foursomes team?
I think so. It's a little bit easier to put four-ball guys together in personality, but foursomes, it's a little bit more of a team, isn't it? I mean, you have to rely on your teammate even more. I just look at the successful partnership I had with Sergio. I thought we were quite different personality-wise. He was energetic, upbeat. I was pretty stoic, pretty just in my own little lane, but it seemed to work very well. So, I think I've learned a lot from that successful partnership.
Thanks for your time, Luke. We appreciate it.
Thank you.